Hey everybody, welcome back to Dirt Road Sessions. For what it's worth, I really like this time of year. From mid-October all the way throughout November and into December, out in the woods, or at least used to be a lot of time spent out in the woods. It's been a long time since I've been able to do that. The cool, crisp days, the Christmas music, which we've been playing here in the office since December 1st. You know, lots of memories come back this time of year. Some memories don't necessarily ask for permission either. They show up usually on a quiet night or in the middle of a grocery store or on a random holiday when the snow's falling as soft as regret sometimes. Today's chapter or story is about one of those moments. It's the kind that sneaks up on you and reminds you of who you were and who you once loved and what time has taken and given back in its own way. In this story, and it is a story, it's two old lovers cross paths after years apart. And for a little while, they step back into a world they once knew. It's tender, maybe a little awkward, but it's honest, and it reminds us how the heart never fully forgets the places it's been. So settle in with me. Let's raise a quiet toast to the innocence we once carried and to the memories that return like snow turning into rain. This is a little piece that I like to call a toast to innocence. Plus, side note, this is also a tribute to one of my all-time favorite songs, just with a small-town southern twist. As you listen to it, see if you can kind of guess what it is. Again, it's called a Toast to Innocence. The first snow in many years fell as soft as sifted flour, drifting across the Mad Butcher parking lot in southeast Arkansas like it had nowhere else particular to be. Folks were hurrying home with cookies and eggnog and last-minute gifts, but I walked a little slower, letting the cold sting my cheeks. Christmas Eve will do that to you. It'll make a man remember things he thought he'd buried deep. I pushed through those automatic doors and stepped into the warm fog of heaters and Christmas music. That's when I saw her. Not at first, just a figure in a long coat by the frozen foods. She was studying a bag of okra like it held the secrets to the universe. But something about the tilt of her head and the way she stood with one foot turned inward like she had since she was 17, it took me back, long before I ever said a word. I eased up to behind her and touched her shoulder, gentle as you'd brush a horse's neck. She turned, slow at first, not knowing me, but then her eyes, those eyes I'd memorized once like scripture, flew open wide as the Mississippi River itself. "Lord, it's you," she said. She threw her arms around me and, in doing so, knocked her purse clean off her shoulder. Lipsticks, keys, and receipts, and life itself spilled across the cold tile. We knelt down to pick it up and laughed until it hurt, because some memories come back like that, quick, sharp, and without apology. We walked together to the checkout line, pushing her half-filled buggy. The small talk came slow, like an engine that hadn't been cranked in years. The boy at the register rang up her groceries and she worried her hands. And the silence between us felt like a hallway with too many doors closed. Nothing much in this town was open, but that didn't stop us. We bought a six-pack at the Easy Mart off Highway 65 and sat in her car, watching the snow tap the windshield. The beer was cold, the night was colder, and yet somehow we were warm, warmer than we had any right to be. We talked about the things people admit in parked cars on Christmas Eve. She told me she'd married a good man, an insurance salesman from over in Monroe, who kept her safe and steady. "I'd like to tell you I loved him," she said, staring straight ahead. "But I've grown cautious with the truth." I nodded. Life teaches you not to pry into another person's honesty. She said she'd seen my name in the college newsletter, heard I was doing okay. I told her the reviews were kind, but the traveling had worn me thin. She reached over and touched my hand, and for a moment, the years folded themselves up like an old map. We were just two kids again. Her with her wild laugh, and me with a pawn shop guitar I barely knew how to hold. We toasted to what we were, to what we'd be again, to the innocence the world tried its best to take from us. And then we toasted to time itself, that thief who steals quietly without ever being caught. The beer ran out and the words did too. Some stories don't have chapters left in them, I figured. Just punctuation marks you don't really want to read. When it was time, she drove me back to my truck. She leaned in and kissed me, small, simple, almost shy. The kind of kiss that says, "I remember you, even if we don't belong to one another anymore." I watched her taillights fade into the snowfall, softer and softer until they were gone. That old ache I thought I'd outrun 100 towns ago came back with a vengeance. Funny how a memory can travel faster than any car or any plane or any man. I turned toward home, boots crunching in the untouched snow, and then it happened. As I turned for home, the hurt thawed slow like the winter giving up its weight in the dark. Like something gentle giving up, or something heavy finally letting go. Like life reminding me that nothing, no feeling, no moment, no love stays frozen forever. I sat in my truck for a long while, watching the rain gather in silver beads along the windshield. Funny how the night can stir up a whole lifetime. She was gone again, just like before. But this time it didn't cut the same. Maybe we weren't meant to reclaim that we lost. Maybe we were only meant to honor that it once lived. The rain kept falling and I let it. It sounded like the truth tapping its fingers on the roof. I thought about the boy I used to be and the man I became and all the roads that split us in two. There's a kind of mercy in knowing that you can't go backwards, only forwards, even if forward feels lonely. I started the engine slow and steady and pulled onto the empty street. Christmas lights blurred through the rain, softest forgiveness. Life goes on, that's what folks say. But sometimes it doesn't go as so much that it sighs and shakes its head and keeps on walking. As I drove home, the ache settled quiet in my chest. Not sharp, not bitter, just something real, something earned. And for the first time in a long while, I felt grateful for the way life softens even the coldest of memories. Sorry I butchered it, but I hope you enjoyed it and hope you liked it. And again, this is a Southern Arkansas twist on one of my favorite old songs this time of year. Thanks so much for listening. Y'all have a blessed day. See ya.